The history books tell us a simple story. We learn about kings, presidents, and generals. We see maps redrawn and empires fall on the open battlefield. But what if the real power never stood on the stage? What if the most critical decisions in human history were not made in parliaments or palaces, but in shadow, behind locked doors, by men who swore oaths of silence? Welcome to the Hidden Order. Today, we are pulling back the veil. We are going to look at three societies that moved from myth to reality. Three organizations that, depending on who you ask, either preserved ancient wisdom or manipulated the world for their own gain. From the knights who invented the modern banking system to the Bavarian intellectuals who plotted to overthrow kings, and the elite club that, even today, is said to rule from the shadows. Are these just conspiracy theories? Or is there a hidden order that shaped the very world you live in right now? Let's find out. Part 1. The Knights Templar. Our journey begins nearly 1,000 years ago, in the Holy Land. The year is 1119. 9 poor knights swear an oath to protect pilgrims traveling to Jerusalem. They call themselves the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. We know them as the Knights Templar. On the surface, they were warrior monks, devout, disciplined, feared in battle. But beneath the surface, they were building something else entirely. Something that would make them more powerful than any monarch. The Knights Templar created the world's first multinational corporation. Imagine this: a pilgrim in France could deposit his gold at a local temple, receive a coded receipt, travel across the known world, and withdraw his funds in Jerusalem. They invented the check. They became the bankers of Europe. Soon, kings and popes were in their debt. They owned fleets of ships, castles, and vast tracts of land. They were immune to local laws, answering only to the Pope himself. They were, in practice, a state within a state, a hidden order operating in plain sight. But power breeds envy. Friday, the 13th of October, 1307. The date that gave us our superstition for Friday the 13th. The trap snapped shut. King Philip IV of France, deeply in debt to the order, opened secret sealed orders. In a coordinated dawn raid, hundreds of Templars were arrested. They were tortured until they confessed to the most horrific crimes: heresy, devil worship, spitting on the cross. The order was crushed. Their Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, was burned at the stake in front of Notre Dame in Paris. Legend has it that from the flames he cursed the king and the pope, summoning them to appear before the tribunal of God within a year. And indeed, both men died within months. But did the Knights Templar truly disappear? Or did they just go underground? Some say they fled to Scotland, that they took their treasures, perhaps even the Holy Grail, and that their legacy lives on in modern Freemasonry. What we know for sure is this: they showed the world that true power is not about crowns. It is about capital. Part 2. The Illuminati. If the Templars were about money and military might, the next society was about something far more dangerous: ideas. It is impossible to talk about secret societies without naming the Illuminati. Today, the word is synonymous with pop stars, pyramids on dollar bills, and an omnipotent global elite. But the truth about the Bavarian Illuminati is almost more interesting than the myth. It all started on May 1st, 1776. A German law professor named Adam Weishaupt founded the Order of the Perfectibilists. His goal wasn't world domination in the modern sense. His goal was to free humanity from the oppression of religion and monarchy through reason and science. Weishaupt modeled his group after the Freemasons, but he infiltrated them from the inside. The Illuminati was a secret elite of intellectuals. Their plan? To place their members in positions of power, to enlighten society from the top down. They used code names, secret handshakes, and an intricate system of spying on one another to ensure absolute loyalty. They managed to recruit dukes, writers, and thinkers. For a brief moment, they were a genuine threat to the established order of Europe. But, like the Templars, they became too dangerous for the ruling class. In 1785, the order was banned by the Bavarian ruler. Weishaupt fled, and seized documents revealed their plans to overthrow both the church and the state. Here, history splits in two. The official version: the Illuminati disbanded and vanished. The unofficial version: they learned their lesson. They stopped using a name. Many theorists believe the French Revolution, which erupted just a few years later, was orchestrated by the remnants of the Illuminati, that their ideas of a new world order never died. They just changed shape, that they melted into other societies, into the banking system, and into politics. Look at the Great Seal of the United States. Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order of the ages, the all-seeing eye. Is it just symbolism from the Enlightenment? Or is it a signature from an architect who never left the building? Part 3. Skull and Bones. Let's move to the present day, to a place that should be open and bright: Yale University in America. Here, in a windowless building known as the Tomb, resides the Society of Skull and Bones. Unlike the Illuminati, this is no myth. It exists. Every year, 15 new students are selected. It is called the TAP. Why is a student club on the list of the world's most powerful societies? Because its membership roster reads like a who's who of American power. 3 U.S. presidents: William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. Supreme Court justices, directors of the CIA, founders of Time magazine, and Morgan Stanley. In the 2004 U.S. election, John Kerry ran against George W. Bush. Both men were members of Skull and Bones. When the journalist Tim Russert asked them what that meant, they gave almost identical answers. It's a secret, so we can't talk about it. Think about that. In a democracy of 300 million people, the choice was between 2 men from the same secret club, a club that only admits 15 people a year. What happens inside the tomb? Rumors speak of bizarre rituals, of lying naked in a coffin and confessing your deepest sexual secrets to create a bond of mutual blackmail and loyalty. But the real threat isn't the rituals, it is the network. Skull and Bones is proof that a hidden order exists in the most practical sense. A small group of people who know each other, protect each other, and help each other to the pinnacle of power, regardless of political party. Is it a conspiracy? Or is that just how the world has always worked? Friends help friends, and powerful friends create powerful alliances. Outro. The Knights Templar showed us the economic foundation of power. The Illuminati showed us the power of hidden ideas. Skull and Bones shows us how elites reproduce themselves. So, who really runs the world? Is it a single, all-powerful group sitting around a table in a dark room? The truth is likely more complex and perhaps more frightening. The hidden order is not necessarily one organization. It is a system, a network of interests, money, and loyalties that operates beyond our view. What we see on the news is often just shadow play, The real decisions, the real structures, lie hidden beneath the surface. And that is why we are here. To keep digging. To keep asking the questions that others are too afraid to ask. If you want to know more about the truth behind history's curtain, make sure to subscribe to The Hidden Order. Because remember, just because you can't see them doesn't mean they aren't watching you.